Hello, good evening, you guys, and welcome to Real Talk with Tamara. As you guys come into the room, please do hit the like button. Also, if you have not subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe to the channel. I hope that you guys are doing okay. I know that I am. I always express the importance of hitting the like button because the like button helps keep the video in the algorithm. Okay. So make sure you guys please like, share, subscribe, comment, and all of those fantabulous things. Okay. How are you guys doing on this evening, y'all? Ooh, I love it when I look at the clock and the numbers are what I need. Like my favorite numbers are in triple form. Wow, it's awesome. Um, I wanted to talk about Yo Gotti. Okay, now Yo Gotti had not been posting a whole lot. Looks like he's been posting a little bit um more in the last few days. Or maybe maybe he feels like this new year gonna be good for him. Okay, I don't know. But he posted, and y'all know I have to put my 2 cents in on him. Okay, y'all know how I feel. All right, about what he did. But is he finally? Because let's go back. Let's go back a little bit because I like to revisit the past because the past definitely has a lot to do oftentimes with the future. Okay. Let me see something. Let me see if Black Youngster done posted. He a fan of the show, so if he haven't posted, he will. Okay, if you hear me say this, he'll post. Okay. Um, but anyways, let's take a look back. Let's go back down memory lane. Okay. With Yo Gotti. I remember even before I started getting into this Young Dolph's case. Of course, I'd heard Yo Gotti's music and all of that, but Young Lil Durk and all of them, I didn't really listen to. Still don't. Okay. Not saying that they're not talented, but I just don't listen to them. And I can remember, Memphis vloggers saying that Lil Durk and Yo Gotti move the same. Okay. I remember them saying that, and I was like, really? How do you say that? Why do you all say that? And it was like, well, they get people to do their dirty work for them. They go get, other dudes that want to, be in their clique, want to be a hanger on to get some money. They go get them to do their dirty work. Okay. And I can remember every Memphian that I've ever spoken to that knew about Yo Gotti has always said that he did dirt, but he always got other people to do it, which is why people in North Memphis didn't particularly care for him. Okay. Um, because he liked to throw rocks and hide his hands, and they don't like to pay people and mess people over, all of that stuff. Okay. And so then y'all know this situation happened with young Dolph. Okay. And I mean, it was already understood basically that he was behind it because he had been trying to send people out as he always did to take him out. Okay. Keon is sitting in jail right now for trying to complete the mission. Youngster almost went the first time, when they was in North Carolina. He's about somebody snitching. Okay, they tried to complete the mission. They couldn't do it. God gave them the opportunity to abort this mission. Okay, and so it just wasn't good for them. I guess he really had this grand idea that he was going to own the South, and somehow young Dolph was stopping him from that. So my guess is they Jug reached out to Orange Mound Quits, okay, and they started trying to put some things together. He reached out to him to see if he knew of some people, okay, that could help them to put this together, and that's this hit, and that's why we're here now. Now we have never, heard him take responsibility. You know, hey, I've when Young Dolph was first hit, he was talking, he was throwing out subliminals, and you know, I can remember he was sitting in the studio when they did that challenge, and they was playing a beat, and he, looked at somebody, and when he said this verse, everybody say they sliding, but ain't nobody dying. They looked at each other, and he laughed, he held his head down. It was funny to him, right? He cared. It was sad that he did this. It was like, I finally did it. I finally got a bunch of damn fools that I think nothing of to do it. Okay. Um, and maybe if the shit hit the fan, everybody else take the fall. Um, and I'll come out looking pristine and clean, right? Um, and it didn't turn out that way, because you have to reap what you sow. Okay. And so, fast forward to 2024, we all know that his brother lost his life, and that was sad. It was hurtful to me, because I hate that. He was also, just like Young Doc was. Juke was seems to be very active in his children's lives. His kids are just around the same age as Young Doc's kids. So, well, yeah, or older, and he had a baby, younger than Young Dolph's kids, but and he was present, in their lives, and I'm sure that has been hard on them also, right? So that's what's sad. Okay, we know that it's been hard on Yo Gotti's mother, because anywhere you saw her, just about you saw Jook. Um, so these are the types of people, such as the children, um, and like Yo Gotti's mom, people like that. They suffer. Okay, when things of this nature happens. So my heart always go out to them, the children and the mother. Okay, his brother, on the other hand, okay, I mean, I don't know if he feels any guilt for it, but he should, because he's definitely directly responsible for it. Hey, I've heard police officers say that they knew that Juk was his brother's enforcer, right? Juk Juk did what his brother, he got about, because he was the one that was in the street. He got about getting out doing, unfortunately, what I guess they felt was necessary to keep their label going. That's crazy that they felt like they needed to kill Young Dolph. At the core of it, it was jealousy. He knew that Young Dolph had the money and had the brain, okay, to continuously go. If you think about it, um, when Young Dolph was killed, when was the last time when Young Dolph had said something about Yo Gotti? It probably was around 2019 or something like that, right? It seemed like it had been very quiet. The man was living his life, okay, and Gotti was still really a local joker, okay. If you want to ask me about it, okay, he didn't really go up until Young Doc was killed. Okay, he really didn't start going up until then. That's why I can believe that maybe there were other forces. Okay, but I just ain't no conspiracy type person. When you start to, yeah, because the Grand Wizard of the KKK was involved, and they did, my nerves too bad. So I can believe that there were other forces other than him and the ones at maybe another record label, okay, that I had been hearing about, that was involved. People maybe above them maybe have approved it, in back rooms, that probably, loaned them money, because y'all know they own, right? The only one of them that's really probably got some money or had some money was Zach. We know there's proof of that. Some long money, because he had that NBA money, right? But anyways, let's keep going, because y'all know I can get into some stuff. But anyways, so but he's never he's never said anything really, other than when he's thrown shots out at Young Dolph, like a sissy. Uh, you know, until then he realized the folks was on his ass, and then he went and hid up under a rock like a turtle. Okay, I said turtle because he always reminded me of a turtle. Okay, and so, anyways, so now he's back posting. It could be a New Year's resolution type thing. Okay, it could be a New Year's resolution type thing. Now, I had heard, I don't know how true it is, that um what I heard was a lot of the people, a lot of those dudes that had been hanging around Juke or whatever, Yo Gotti kind of cut them off. Of course he would. He can't trust them now. He don't want to have direct contact with them. He always needed to use his brother to be the liaison so that he could not directly be touched. Okay. I believe Orange Man Quick could touch him. He set up a lie like he don't know him, but he telling a story. Okay. I believe that he can directly point to him in a whole lot of situations if he get mad enough. Okay, we know he emotional. He will get mad enough to do it. Okay, but now he basically used his brother to do a whole lot of his dirt. He had his brother used some of those dudes that was around him. So even though he may have been around, he made sure maybe that quite a few of them answered to his brother only, because he wanted it to look as if his hands and stuff was clean. I think that's what he wanted to do. Okay. But now we see he is posted. Okay. Y'all know I have to y'all knew I was coming. Okay. And I don't take my foot off of this man's neck because of what he has done. This man started a war in the city of Memphis when he did not have to do this. Okay, and it was all because of jealousy. This man right here is at the root of what happened to young Dolph. This is the mastermind. Okay, he is the mastermind. I believe probably about two more people set up there at that mastermind table, maybe three to include his brother. And once it was decided, the finalization of the of what they was gonna do, his brother was sent out to get to find folks to go and um what's the word that I'm looking for? It's right on the tip of my brain. Execute this thing, and they killed that boy in execution style. And because of that, it started a whole war in Memphis with young people, and him and his folks haul ass. Okay? Up out of Memphis. Him, Moneybag, all of them. Moneybag still ain't passed the smell test. He is just like Gotti. He ain't to be trusted. As a matter of fact, folk, if something happened to Finesse, people will be expecting for it to be from the princess, but it would be Moneybag because this he moved just like Gotti do. Okay, cowards, right? So, I know Finesse on here showing out. I'm gonna talk about him, but listen, I like Finesse. Okay, I like him. He gonna have to quit showing out. Okay, he acting a fool, but he got something to say. Okay, and when people do you wrong, that's what happened. Now, see, when Finesse was talking about Dolph, now God has put Finesse in a position where he understands why Dolph was doing what he was doing. Help me, somebody. Sometimes you can speak too soon. Okay, he took their side. They was mad at Dolph. Now they doing the exact same thing to him that they was doing to Dolph. Now he see how I feel. That's the reason why you have to be very careful, because the Bible says the very thing you wish up on somebody else and you speak up on somebody else, okay, will come up on you. He get the opportunity to experience it, and he's doing the exact same thing. Only thing about it is young Dolph couldn't be stopped because he was not beholden to them. That's why they killed him. They didn't own him. They got Finesse tied up in contracts, and they trying to dog walk him that way. Okay, but I'm gonna talk about Finesse, but I ain't gonna talk bad about him because I like him. Okay, we gonna talk about Finesse, because see, we got to make sure that they don't take him out, because we know Finesse gonna get around to saying some real stuff, and they know it too. He gonna tell it all. Okay, and I don't blame him. Okay, now let's get back to Pregnant Head right here. So Pregnant Head puts a post up, okay, and it says, "I'm the one that's got to make the hard decisions. 2026, the world is out." So I mean, is he taking responsibility for what they did to young Dolph? He letting y'all know he's finally said it. He's finally said it. Is he taking responsibility for what they did to young Dolph? Finally, he says he's the one that's got to make the hard decisions. He's letting you know, he's sitting at the desk. I run it. Nothing happens unless I say it. So when I told y'all, when Youngster was doing all that shit, it was he made the decisions. Okay, he's finally admitting it. Okay. He said, no position too small to play. So it ain't no blessing too big to receive. Now he finally talking about God, God whooping that ass cat raggedy. Okay. You don't have the respect you once had because you took out your competition when you were supposed to look young Dolph in the face and say, look, I'm a dog walk you in the studio. And then that's what real businessmen do. He put out some, you put out some. I mean, that's y'all could have really ran it up. But you had your pink panties on. You was too jealous hearted. You didn't want to see him make it. And if you ask me, you fouled out. Okay. And as a result, you're going to pay, because it's a lot of people lost their life because you was the mastermind, the true mastermind behind what happened. You was at the root of this problem, you and probably a couple of more. And that's excluding your brother, because your brother comes in right up under y'all. Okay. But let's keep going. Okay. So that's a CMG chain. Now I was talking to my boy Hitter today. He was like, Hitter gonna do a good video on it too. Okay. Either it's Juke's chain or he's getting ready to give somebody a CMG chain. Who knows? Okay. So he took out Young Dolph so that he could sit and act like he talking on a phone, and caused a war in his city, the city that helped him to come up. No loyalty, because bitch, before anybody else was listening to you, we were the ones. This city, the city of Memphis, was the one that helped you to come up. They was coming to them hole in the wall clubs, helping you to get your name out there. Your city was the one that birthed your ass, Negro. And as a result, ain't nobody got to tell you how Memphis hurting, how these young dudes out here hurting. Y'all can't do no better than that. If you got something, if they got a talent, you help them. You already see they hurting and impoverished. Ain't nobody got to tell you that, Negro. You come from them areas. You know firsthand they hurting out here. And you help the F they life up even more. I don't respect your kind. Okay. See, I'm one of the ones that's different. See, I don't sit at no table to try and get no crumbs. I'll build my own damn table before I do that. That's why I can talk like I talk. I got a fucking winner's mind. Some of these motherfuckers need to get them some. Okay? So you go and get these little dudes. All they ain't got no, they don't realize that they can be anything that they want to be, but they've been taught that all that they can do to get out the hood is be a rapper or athlete. Okay? So if they got a talent and you a king maker, Negro, bosses are king makers. They supposed to be. These Negroes got the issues confused. They feel like it's all about them. Real bosses are kingmakers. They don't mind nobody else having to shine. You see somebody like Straight Drop, if he talented, you help him. You give him stipulations. Look, bruh, you can't come over here with that hitman shit though. We're gonna make some money, but you can't bring down what I'm building. You can make some real money. I bet you he would have aborted that. He would have came up out the street. But instead, y'all dangle a carrot, which is fame and money. I speak about this all the time. I've spoken about this in another video a long time ago. That's what the devil did to Jesus when he was trying to fast. He told him, come and serve me. I'll give you everything. Ain't nothing changed. It's just in human form now of these so-called CEOs that really ain't no CEO. They owned by the Jews. If we're going to be real about it, they the face of a lot of this stuff because they got to be funded by an entity that you don't see in the background. Yeah, they come up with it. Yeah, okay, so you came up with CMG and this and that. It had to be funded. Okay, I'll fund it, but I'm gonna own 60, you're gonna own 40, but I'll let you be the face because you got to be able to bring in and trick all the black talent. They sign them in these contracts. That's why Finesse screaming on every rooftop right now, just like they did Finesse. Okay. And then they use as my guy, what's his name? I can't think of his name right now. From out of Houston, the blackface Ku Klux Klan. Okay. Yo Gotti and them and Jay-Z and them, they're the new age blackface KKK. And they destroying their own communities, okay? And as a result of his jealousy, look at everything that happened. Now, I don't know what happened to his brother. I don't. I hate it happened. But I got to believe, I got to believe that it lies in the world of dirt he was involved in that could be connected to his brother. Okay. That's how I put it. Okay. And so now he's saying he got to make all the decisions. He's the one that's got to make the hard decisions. Negro, you ain't have to tell me. I've been trying to tell him you was the one that made the decisions. I'm glad maybe you're trying to take some responsibility for it. Okay. I'm glad maybe you're trying to take some responsibility for it. It proves that maybe you are a human being. Okay. But if he had to do it all over again, he'd do it differently. Because anybody can sit in front of a camera and take a picture and smile. And then after that picture is taken, they go right back to their shell. This is a man that said he was scared to walk in his own house, scared of his own damn shadow. Your sins will find you out. And this is how one acts when it finally does. Okay. They be scared of their own shadow. They little dogs and shit. Okay. But yeah, he said he makes a decision. So I guess he's finally taking responsibility for being the reason behind a lot of this stuff that went on, with young Dolph. Okay. Gotti didn't have to do this because Gotti is talented. He didn't have to do it. Hey, like I said, Gotti is my era. And so I knew of his music before I knew of Young Dolph's music. And it ain't because when nobody listens to Young Dolph, as they try to say. It was just because I don't really listen to rap like that. I started listening to it more than ever now. Okay. More so now than before, a little bit. The energy and the vibration of a lot of this rap, I can't get with. I'm real in tune to vibrations, and the vibration of it is too low for me. So that's why I can't listen to it. Okay. Anyways, you guys, I just wanted to talk about that. Okay. I may come on tonight or later on. Like it's gonna be late night. Okay. I think Hilda's gonna come on. I ain't gonna be able to come on because I got something I gotta do right now. I'm out doing something right now. But it'll be later tonight. Maybe if y'all stay up, I'll come on like at 10. Okay, after Hilda goes off. All right. Anyways, you guys, I want you guys to please like, share, and subscribe. If you would like to support the channel, you could definitely support the channel via Cash App.